Good morning, Bexley Middle School. It's Thursday, May 7th, a B-Day on our calendar. Couple of birthdays today. Our own Alex D. Happy birthday, Alex, and thanks for all your contributions to the show. Harper, happy birthday. And Ethan and Seth. I can't believe those guys share a birthday. All right, recess today. It is looking warm. It is looking dry. So we will make sure we want to get outside and get some exercise today. This next part, I want to show you a clip from the New York Times, something they ran earlier this week about Dr. Amy Acton called The Leader We Wish We All Had. This is tremendous, so check this out.
This is no small thing that we are doing together. It is so incredibly hard to have shut down our lives the way we have. I am absolutely certain you will look back and know that you helped save each other.
This is Dr. Amy Acton, Director of the Ohio Department of Health. Trademark lab coat, emphatic hand gestures, and a knack for metaphors.
It's like Swiss cheese. So I want you to picture a hurricane. When you have a fire on your stove and you have your kitchen extinguisher, you want to get it quick.
You may not have seen her press briefings, but in Ohio, they've become a daily ritual, catapulting her from unknown local official to cult icon.
Hi, my name is Amy Acton. Any questions? Dr. Amy's going to help us find out the coronavirus.
In her youth, Dr. Acton overcame neglect and homelessness on her way to being crowned homecoming queen. And last year, she became the first doctor appointed to run Ohio's health department. Under her, Ohio has become a leader in responding to COVID. It declared a state of emergency with just 3 confirmed cases. And it was the first state to shut down schools. Later that same week, some governors were still proudly eating in packed restaurants. And Dr. Acton issued a stay-at-home order affecting more than 11 million people when the death toll was still just 3. So how did Dr. Acton do it? To find out, we watched more than 7 weeks of press briefings, and we noticed themes that, well, let's just say other leaders should pay attention to. First up, she empowers us. Take a look at this clip from the day Dr. Acton issued that stay-at-home order.
I don't want you to be afraid. I am not afraid. I am determined. But I need you to do everything. I want you to think about the fact that this is our one shot in this country. All of us are going to have to sacrifice. And I know someday we'll be looking back and wondering, what was it we did in this moment?
Of her 65 words there, 12 are pronouns. Her repeated use of I tells us she's in it with us. She's taking ownership. Her use of you makes the audience feel a connection with her, even though we're watching from home. Toward the end, she switches from singular to collective pronouns, signaling that she's just like us. And we're in it together. She's in charge, yet she's made us feel like the heroes.
There are everyday heroes everywhere. We know that not all heroes wear capes. You're heroic when you stay at home and watch your neighbor who's a nurse's child. I know you're all donning those capes in big ways and small ways. Please help us. Thank you.
Ohioans were inspired, not just to stay at home, but to spread her messages to each other. Another theme of Dr. Acton's briefings is brutal honesty. And to understand this one, we have to take you back to mid-April. People were getting restless, wondering when things would get back to normal.
So I do hope no one at home thinks like it's wide open May 1st, going back to life as normal. The rules have changed and they're not going to be quite the same. Life will be different for quite some time to come, and maybe in some ways that are permanent.
She's preparing us for the long haul, even if it's not what we want to hear.
It's really hard to hear that, but we are not going back to 6 months ago. That's not the reality we all face.
This is something she does a lot, actually. Setting up bad news with a warning.
Ohioans, I know that's hard to take. I know that's a hard truth for people because we want there to be a right answer and a right way. And I know this is a deep breath we all must take.
Dr. Acton's also honest about what she doesn't know.
We have to be very clear and transparent with you. All of these numbers are a gross underestimation, and we have no real idea of the prevalence of this infection yet.
A lot of leaders just avoid talking about uncertainty, but when Dr. Acton repeatedly says,
"We don't know,"
It's actually calming to hear her admit what we all feel deep down, that we just don't have the full story. And finally, Dr. Acton sees vulnerability as a strength. After watching dozens of hours of briefings, there was one word we kept hearing over and over.
Please just acknowledge and give a name to what you're going through. Acknowledge it with each other. And so I just want to acknowledge that these are still really tough times. This is wearing on all of us, and I just want to acknowledge that. I just want to acknowledge that all of us are feeling this. It's such an unprecedented time.
Hearing Dr. Acton acknowledge our harder emotions forces us to face them head on. Stuffing down fear and sadness just causes more stress and may make us act more selfishly instead of empathizing with each other.
You'll have days when you're anxious, but don't kill yourself over that. Please know and forgive yourself and try again.
And take a look at what she does here.
Every day I go through stages of grief. I go through, denial. I go through a little anger. I go through a little bargaining. I don't have to wear this. I might not need it. This isn't true. I get a little down.
When she tells us she's struggling too, we feel seen and heard and less alone. And maybe that's all any of us want right now. In a pandemic, the words our leaders choose can save lives. As of the end of April, Ohio had recorded fewer than 1,000 COVID deaths. By comparison, neighboring Michigan suffered more than 3,000, even though Ohio has a bigger population and had its first case 3 weeks earlier. Of course, other factors help explain this. But Dr. Acton convinced millions of Ohioans to stay at home, not by ordering them, but by inspiring them.
People at home, you are moving mountains. You are saving lives. Again, I get emotional talking about this because this is no small thing that we are doing together. It is so incredibly hard to have shut down our lives the way we have. I am absolutely certain you will look back and know that you helped save each other in this state. The impact is profound. Please at home, don't stop.
All right, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Top stories today. Teacher Appreciation Week continues, and community conversations. We have one today and one for next week. Make sure that you're washing your hands, 20 seconds soap and water, every day, every time. All right, Teacher Appreciation Week. Congratulations to these teachers who have won the following gift cards. Mrs. Rezick, PayPal, Mr. Smith, Target, Mrs. Brunetto, Chipotle, Mr. Castorina, DoorDash, Mrs. Yoli, Brassica, Mrs. Bidwell, Starbucks, Mrs. Ball, Urban Emporium, Mrs. Bell, Starbucks, Mr. Acton, Urban Emporium, Miss Howland, Starbucks, Mr. Johnson, Barnes & Noble, and Miss Jacks, Barnes & Noble. Congratulations to each of you, and thanks for everything that you do. Thanks to our parents and families who've donated those gift cards, and our PTO for organizing this whole event. Community conversations today, growth mindset at 11. Make sure that you're pre-registering on the Canvas link, and then they will send you a link to the event about 5 to 15 minutes ahead of time. Definitely want to check that out. One that I'm really excited about coming Monday is Create Your Credo. Getting to come up with a short motivational theme quote that'll represent you. I'm already registered for this. Make sure you get in and register for that as well. Should be very cool, and I'm excited to see what kind of awesome tagline I can come up with. All right. Our final thought today comes from actress, comedian, author, television writer extraordinaire, Mindy Kaling. She wrote this in her book a few years ago, but it has never been more true than now. There has ceased to be a difference between my awake clothes and my sleep clothes. We're all feeling that right now, Mindy. So, all right, that takes care of it. Stay classy and stay 6 feet apart, and we will see you back here on Friday, Bexley.